Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Educate and Elevate Your Employment. I am one of your co-hosts, Harriet Richmond, and I'm here with my great friend, John Green, who's serving as the other co-host for this awesome segment that we put together to help you through your employment journey. And today's topic is about mentoring and why it's important for you in your career development to participate in mentoring. And the great news about this segment, I always tell John, we are like the whiz behind the curtain, like the Wizard of Oz. We're the Oz behind the curtain. And we're demonstrating that because we want to share with you some of our secrets around navigating your career in both the private and the public sector. So, why should you find a mentor in your career, or be it in the public sector or the private sector? And I'm going to let John share some of the whys, particularly in the private sector.
Yeah, I think instead of asking that question, I think you should turn it around and go, why not?
Ooh.
So that's the good thing, both from an employer side and an employee side. So what it does is it provides an opportunity, particularly for newer or less seasoned employees, to connect with more of a veteran in the area or the industry or the company that they're in to help guide them through successfully, I guess, promoting themselves throughout their career, avoiding pitfalls, learning new techniques. Maybe there's a skill enhancement or just senior connection in the organization that you can bounce ideas off if you're looking to implement new things, and they can guide you through the pluses and minuses, the pros and cons of why you should or shouldn't do what it is you're looking to do. But mentorship, I think, is a really good program, both in the private sector and the public sector. I know in the private sector, it's probably a little less, depending on your industry, it might be a little less formalized. It might be ad hoc, but depending on how large your company is, it might be very formalized. And the expectation is that everyone that walks through the door within the first 6 months, they're paired up with someone in the organization to guide them through.
Yeah, great points, John. I want to say for the federal government, mentoring, surprisingly, is kind of still new. And we tend to, as agencies, and I've been to 8 different ones, we tend to formalize it. It doesn't come natural for some strange reason in the federal government. At least that's been my experience. So we've put programs together to make sure that we have an inclusive workplace. Mentoring really developed as we dive deeper into the diversity, equity and inclusion and accessibility movement. And we realized that in order to ensure that people get a fair and experience and fair opportunities, we decided we need to put mentoring in places because a lot of people, particularly in underrepresented areas or marginalized areas, may not feel so comfortable in that environment. How do you walk up on somebody and just say, can you be my mentor? Sometimes the process is not so smooth and intuitive as it may be for other groups or other organizations or other type of people. What do you think about that?
Well, I think one of the things that people can do is if they have a connection maybe with either their manager or someone in another department, feeling them, if you don't have a formalized program, feeling them out, telling them what you want to do or aspire to do, and see if they can help guide you or connect you with someone, perhaps for an informational interview to start off with, and then just make that a regular connection within the organization. As you know, one of the most important things with a mentorship relationship is making sure that the mentor really has your best interests at heart. It doesn't serve you if there's a mismatch and they're looking to do something else that you have no total interest in, or if they're guiding you down the wrong path.
Yeah, and I've had that happen where someone just assumed that they know what career path you're interested in, never taking the time out to ask you and try to help you. And when those things happen, just change mentors And that could be
Yeah.
done gracefully and just say that you think you need to look for some more information or get some more help from someone else. Believe me, if the mentor didn't take the time out to really understand your interests, then that means they won't miss you when you just slowly fade away, right? Um, don't come to your mentor unprepared. If you do identify somebody that could potentially serve as your mentor, and I believe you should declare it. Tell that person, I would love for you to mentor me. Let the person know. Give them an opportunity to say, I really don't have time for this right now. Sometimes we have to ask for the service. And if the person can't provide it, at least and you can go ahead and move on and try to find someone else who could fit your criteria and fit your needs.
Hmm.
Be prepared with your resume, some of your goals. Do some of your homework up front, because sometimes when you pick a
Yeah.
mentor, they are extremely busy. They may have the heart to want to help you, but you got to do some things too to be prepared for your mentor. But I would also say if you are a mentor, be prepared for that mentee too. Show some interest in them and their career. Think of some assignments or opportunities. Be really, really, really ready to share your skills, your knowledge, your abilities, your experience. Maybe express some vulnerability. It's okay to show that, hey, I tried this, it didn't work for me, but it may work for you. These are some great ideas for both the mentor and the mentee when you're in these type of situations. When you're being asked to serve as a mentor, it's an honor, actually.
It
Wouldn't you think
is. It
so?
is. So it also helps you to enhance your abilities. Maybe you're getting somebody in an area that you've never been in to also see what their goals are and how you can help set out a path for them to reach those goals, whether or not it's in your organization or just in life in general. So I think that's the other piece that people uh, feel like, if I get a mentor, it is strictly about the work that I'm doing here, and the job that I'm in versus broadening of the things I want to do in life, period. So whether that's achieving a certification, more education, perhaps elevating your positions, they can help guide you through those by giving you suggestions for what path you should take or and help direct you so you actually are reaching your goals. So again, it's not just within your organization or the position you're in, but mentoring you for your entire career span and the things you want to do outside of your career.
I think that's a great point, John. And I also wanted to point out, too, and you kind of touched on that emotional intelligence that is not always just about the career, but what other EQs you need in your development, be it being more self aware, self motivated, confidence, those things that are
Hmm.
needed. And a mentor kind of navigates through that in the essence of a career path, because sometimes they may know some things about your occupation that you're not even aware of, the things
Hmm.
that you need to come with the knowledge, skills, and abilities, along with those so-called soft skills that I just talked about. How do you communicate to people? Are you a good team player? What is needed to be successful in your career? And a mentor can help you navigate through some of that. I wanted to point out too, in the federal government, we tend to just look for our mentors in your agency. I highly encourage you to look for a mentor sometimes outside of your agency just to give you a different perspective. Also gives you a chance, again, that vulnerability that maybe you need to talk about people and situations, and you can share that information without the fear of it getting back to whoever it is you're talking about. I hate to be, kind of gossipy, but sometimes you need to do that in order for that mentor to say, oh, I wouldn't do that. That's not a good move, without having to know who is the person that you're talking about or what situation, particularly when you're in leadership roles and you're trying to get better at becoming a better leader. That's a great way to use a mentor when you're trying to become a better leader.
Yeah. So we've talked about, how to find what the process is, what the benefits are. And again, as you stated earlier, if it's not working out or you're not feeling a connection, by all means, feel free to sever that relationship because it's not going to benefit either you or the person that's doing the mentoring. You're just basically wasting time with one another. One of the other things that, you should do is just make sure that, you know, don't make the sessions all about you. Find some shared common interests to make sure that there's a balance in regards to what it is that both of you are interested in. Listening, active listening, I can't stress that enough, is a key important element in all of these situations, your employment, the mentoring, all the other aspects. But yeah, actually listening to what the other person is instead of just faking like, oh, I'm here for this meeting. Yeah, but I'm already going to do whatever it is I want to do anyway.
That's a good point because this is what I look like when I have a mentee that talks too much. I think it's a but I don't want to be the person that talks too much too. So it's a shared process. We're both listening. We're both giving our perspective. It's a two-way conversation. So I do believe just make sure you're not too self-absorbed that is all about me, me, me. I also want to say mentoring can be reverse. There's such a thing that's called reverse mentoring. So sometimes the mentor could be getting something out of you. The roles could be reversed.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't do that if someone is always kind of monopolizing the conversation. So that's the how to too. Make sure you have your goals in mind. Come up with a contractual agreement with your mentor. Set a timeline sometimes on how long you're going to be a mentor. I don't believe mentors should go. I mean, you may have someone pass a year when it's formalized and you're meeting with them regularly, but I wouldn't have a mentor go past that 1 year period.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's more informal and it's more of a check-in that you do once a year. I had a mentor like that. At first, it was very consistent. We were meeting on a regular basis, but after a year, it turned into a once a year checkup, just a status, what's going on. Maybe I'm feeling a little down, a little nervous about where am I going? Maybe I needed some encouragement. So I would call my mentor, and I may have not spoken to her in over a year. And she always knew where to pick up and what type of encouragement to give to me. Again, she was ahead of me in my career. So she was already talking about, well, look for this assignment, think about this assignment. So I love the fact that she was almost like in a race where you have that rabbit right before
Mm-hmm.
you. So she was kind of my rabbit. So every once in a while I would check in, but I think a year is pretty good for a mentorship relationship. After that, you may want to consider looking for another mentor after that. What do you think about that, John?
I think a year is good. So you don't get burned out or bored. It gives other people a chance to rotate in. You can rotate off and then get remotivated and join back in, or just make it for, that time period. But I definitely think that, the time period gives everybody a clear set of expectations from start to finish.
Yes.
And when we reach that, then our obligations are over. It also helps, since you have a timeline, all the things that you need to do within that timeline to achieve to help guide and set people up for success.
Right, right. And as you know, you probably have picked a mentor that is very busy, has a lot of responsibilities. Most likely they're probably a manager or an executive in your organization, and they don't have a lot of time. So I think, having that timeline makes it more feasible for someone to volunteer to serve as a mentor. And if they know that there's goals and their job is to get you to help you set those goals and to meet those goals, they may be more inclined to stick with their commitment to you. And if they know it has an ending point,
Mm-hmm.
stick with it and see you to the end until it's time for you to move on and hopefully potentially find someone else who can help you further your career.
Yep. So those are the tips that we have for you regarding mentoring. We hope that you join us next time on Educate and Elevate Your Employment.